Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Well, just can, and I'm back with Max Payne Blind here at the Ragnarok nightclub. Now, the Ragnarok, you can't really get more direct than that with the Norse mythology references. So it's pretty much... I'm not sure what I just did. I didn't want to be powered.
Get him!
Really low on health here. Yeah, another thing that is not really that clear to me, did Max kill the other guy, the Cogniti, was he? The guy that he was chasing just the chapter before, because I didn't hear a gunshot or anything in the cutscene, but he said something along the lines, your rights will be read to you at your funeral. So I don't know if it was just supposed to be an ironic statement on how life isn't fair, so the only time you'll have any actual rights is when you're dead, but it sounded like something you'd say right before you kill somebody, so I'm not sure what that's about. Ah, okay. Must be really careful until I find some additional painkillers, because I'm really low on health.
The book had never been a bestseller. Given the setting, I was surprised to find that somebody had been passing time reading. The paperback was entitled The Age of Murder and Storm. The blurb on the back mentioned Norse mythos and Ragnarok, the end of a Viking world with a terrible winter that covered the earth in ice, when vile crimes were rampant and all humanity lost. I could see how somebody impressionable might get it into their head that we were at the end of time. I was also beginning to see what the nightclub and its owner were all about.
They're really going in heavy with the references. And even sort of in-game, like actual in-game characters are noticing.
There he is!
Oh, damn it.
What the?
Ah, damn it.
Hey!
Where is he? I don't do it. Okay, better just run across the room.
What the?
I'm really burning through my ammo fast. Seems someone here is
Books on the occult had been piled on the table.
I was about to say the exact word, actually. Oops, didn't want to do that. Instead, I wanted to click.
The room was stacked with light reading, such as Necronomicon, Witchcraft, and Paradise Lost. Old exotic titles like Malleus Maleficarum and De Umbrarum Reini Novum Portis. Books with pentagrams on their covers, all dealing with the occult and the infernal, lying between stacks of horror videos and a couple of Ouija boards. The only thing I could take seriously was the thought of Lupino taking it seriously. He had been spending a lot of time getting intimate with the guy downstairs.
Now, Necronomicon is a fictional but very famous book that originates with H.P. Lovecraft and his Cthulhu mythos. Witchcraft seems like a pretty generic name for a book, and if it refers to any particular book, I don't know it. Paradise Lost, I think, is a pretty classic and well-known book, but I didn't realize it was related to the occult in any way. Malleus Maleficarum, or Malleus Maleficarum, is the hammer of witches. It's an actual sort of inquisitor's guide written in like 14th or 15th century by a German inquisitor, Heinrich Kramer, and I think Jakob Sprengler as well. There were two of them. And the Umbrarum Regni Novum Portis, I don't know, and I can't even exactly translate it. I'll probably put it in the comments or in the description if I remember. But day is like about, so Umbra is like a shadow, so about shadowy something. Regni would be something dealing with regnum, so ruling or something about kings. Novum is new, but I can't quite put it together, so...
The room was stacked with light...
No, I wanted... Okay, I guess it's all of it played. A Ouija board as well? I'm thinking about reloading actually, because I'm so low on health that this couple of shots that the guy got on me really significant. Oh, it's like a almost akin to a firework display. Although I don't think it does anything. It's just a bonus for there's a gig on the stage or something. It looks like there might be something in there, provided I can. Okay, there isn't. I am actually rather disappointed. Hoping for some kind of a secret room. There's at least some ammo here.
What with Dino and all? I wouldn't say anything to his face. He might not. Who knows what he's doing?
But somebody's gotta go in there. It's too freaky. All the screaming. It's been 3 days now. Don't look at me. Hell no, I ain't got no death wish. I'm just saying it gives me the creeps, especially now. It's gone all quiet in there.
There he is!
Come on. Oh, damn it.
Whack the sucker!
It's sort of glued to it. seems I might be forced to switch to a shotgun for some time. Running full out of ammo for most of my other weapons. Choosers of the Slain. That's probably the band's name.
Karaoke never was my scene.
Ah, that was the guitar that was making the sound. I was wondering. Oops, didn't want to pick that. Oh, so it's like probably like a mental puzzle a little. Feel the correct way. Maybe it isn't puzzle after all, maybe. To
What
one
the hell?
position.
The backstage area led to Lupino's inner sanctum. The hot air inside was like an invisible wall, thick with incense and something else, a sickly sweet smell that made you gag. This was the rotten core of the Big Apple. Lupino lurked somewhere ahead, like a spider at the center of his web, waiting. The vapors in the air started to make my head swim. Torn pieces of a letter lay scattered on the sofa.
Oh man, he was like making human sacrifice or something, so I guess he's really deep into that whole occult stuff. Yeah, I want to read. Ah, maybe that's the letter. I'm clicking the use key, but
Punchinello had threatened Lupino in writing. The note had been torn to pieces, bloody fingerprints all over them.
Don't want you to think that one of my boys is not playing with a full deck. Shape up, Jack. We are running a business here. I'd hate to send the trio to strong-arm you.
The trio were the Don's notorious henchmen. It was obvious that Lupino hadn't been intimidated by the threat. Lupino's notes covered the table. Jack Lupino was crazy, all right. The table was scattered with notes of demented arcane nonsense written in rusty blood, a mishmash list of demons, devils, and dark gods evoked.
Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Baphomet, Lucifer, Loki, Cthulhu, Lilith, Hela, Blood, given to you all.
He was after that old Faustian deal. Your soul for power and fortune. Just signing the dotted line with your blood.
So, Beelzebub, I think, is a historical deity of one of the, like, I think he appeared in the Bible. He's from like an eastern region. Asmodeus is also kind of biblical origin. Beelzebub, I think, translates to the Lord of the Flies, although maybe that's from some fiction. I'm not sure. Again, I'll try to put more info either in a pinned comment or in the description if I don't forget. Asmodeus is like one of the Dukes of Hell or something like that, but it's all apocrypha. Baphomet is another historical deity. Lucifer, of course, is the biblical Satan, the giver of the light bringer, literally. Lucifer, light. Loki is the Norse god of deceit and lies. Cthulhu is a fictional but very famous, one of the so-called Great Old Ones, the Cthulhu mythos created by H.P. Lovecraft. Lilith, I think she's also a kind of a biblical character, although not appearing in the Bible proper, but rather one of the apocryphal books. I think she was like the first wife of Adam before Eve was created. She was like a demon that tried to lead him astray or something. And Hela is another goddess from the Norse pantheon, although I'm not sure what was her sort of portfolio. So it seems he's going all over, you know, actual historical deities, biblical references, the actual Satan himself, Norse deities, and even fictional characters.
Lupino's notebook lay on the pedestal. Jack Lupino was crazy, all right.
Mythic wolves, let loose to devour the sun and the moon. Lupino is the wolf. I'm Mr. Beast, the big bad Fenrir wolf. I'm the end of the world man, wearing the flesh of fallen angels.
After Y2K, the end of the world had become a cliche. But who was I to talk? A brooding underdog avenger alone against an empire of evil, out to right a grave injustice. Everything was subjective. There were only personal apocalypses. Nothing is a cliche when it's happening to you.
Okay, so here, Lupino is, again, directly evoking Norse mythology, imagining himself as Fenrir, the wolf, which I guess is fitting because his name itself is Lupino, Lupine, Lupus. It all relates to wolves, but Fenrir is actually a character from the Norse mythology again, and the talk about devouring the sun, it's actually another portent of Ragnarok, the another sort of event that is supposed to happen at the start of Ragnarok is Fenrir, the great wolf, getting free from his imprisonment and actually physically devouring the sun. That would presumably cause the everlasting winter, the Fimbulwinter. So I guess Lupino, imagines himself to be Fenrir and tries to, literally bring the end of the world. It's really cool. Like, this game seems to be a lot cooler when you I'm not claiming I have some deep knowledge of Norse mythology. I've only, glimpsed the subject. But even still, knowing those details, Baldur, Fimbulwinter, and so on, it really makes it more interesting.
The flesh of fallen angels! Come to me all! Astaroth, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Baphomet, Lucifer, Loki, Satan, Cthulhu, Lilith, Ella! Blood to you all! Secrets living under the skin of reality. I've corruption of flesh. Oh, I'm the wolf, yeah! I am the wolf! It's close. It's coming. You have come. A witness to the end of time. It's now! I will rise to her side! I don't need the words! I'm beyond the words!
Okay, he indeed is crazy. But he's quite atmospheric in his craziness. Seems they're stocking me up on ammo, just before the boss battle. Which I'm grateful for, don't get me wrong. No, I have no doubts I'm going to need it. I should have been paying more attention. Not even sure who's shooting me. Ah, they're up sort of stairs as well. Maybe for the best that I died, to be honest. I think I'll save the engrams for Lupino himself. Okay, so I think stepping into the circle here jumpstarts the battle. guess. Oh, there he is.
I had known there'd have to be a catch in it somewhere, and this one was the Empire State Building of catches. Lupino was pumped up and dying to go 15 rounds with a mutant alligator. And then he started this spooky monkey talk, straight from a bad dream. Mine.
I have tasted the flesh of fallen angels. I've tasted the devil's green blood. It runs in my veins. I've seen beyond the world of skin, the architecture of blood and bow and arrow. Death is coming! She is coming, and hell follows with her. This is the twilight winter. I am ready to be her son. Her time is now, and all who stand in her way must die!
Okay.
Die! You'll die! You'll die! Now! All die!
Went down.
When Lupino finally went down, I wanted to make
Easier than
real
I
sure he'd stay
anticipated.
that way. V was a bad monster. Turned them into friggin' zombie demons from outer space.
I think he's dead already.
Huh? And that's when it happened.
But dead or not, you've got the wrong guy.
In stepped this knockout femme fatale holding a gun to my face. I returned the favor. Lisa Punchinello. Lisa Punchinello was the Don's wife.
Mona Sachs, Lisa's evil twin.
Your safety's off, evil twin. You might hurt someone with that gun of yours.
Lisa's the damsel in distress. I'm the professional. I'd blow you away without batting an eye.
Sure, and you can check out my credentials splattered all over this joint.
Jack couldn't have framed you. Not the state he was in. We're after the same slime bag. Angelo Punchinello's the one who murdered your friend and framed you with it.
You know this for a fact.
I've got my sources.
I don't have a clue these days. I just shoot them as they come. Who put a contract on the Archfiend?
This one's mine. I hate the guts of that sadistic wife-beater. Why not pool our bullets for this one?
I thought you'd never ask. My finger was starting to twitch.
How do you like your whiskey?
I'm easy, as long as you don't try to slip me a Mickey.
You're a real angel, Max.
It was good stuff. Tasted sweet as honey going down.
Nothing personal. Can't risk you going berserk and getting Lisa killed.
The nightmare was always the same. Violent shapes moving in darkness, old and ugly. The killer's mad laughter was a riddle filled with wicked innuendo.
Oh man,
Somewhere, the baby was crying.
I think this is the sequence I remembered. The nightmare with the baby crying. And I'm back home, but only sort of. Episode is getting long, but I don't want to end it in the middle of such an intense sequence, so I'll try to get to the end of the nightmare. I'm not sure.
Max, no, please, Max. Why? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
What was the rule? Always stand in the same direction? I think in this situation it'll just lead me in circles. Oh. I'm not sure if maybe I'm not even going anywhere and just scripted, because it really looks like a maze with every direction looking the same. I guess it really fits the idea of a nightmare, you trying to run to save someone you love, your wife and children, wife and child in this case, but you can't because the way is twisted and changing directions. Literally have no idea what I'm doing. To be honest, I'm just running blind.
Should have known it when we found you snoring next to Lupino's corpse. A comedian, huh?
The pictures were filled with good old... Alex and I had a few moments of glory between us. Crime-fighting comrades, the best in NYPD DEA collaborative team. Good-hearted macho bullshit like that. I would have given anything to have him here as my backup. No such luck. No luck at all. Times.
And also, it's interesting how I think he runs slower, and it's also really fitting for a nightmare because you're trying to get there, but you run slower than usual, as if you were like in oil or something. Oh, and of course the way getting barred. Oh yeah, I remember this part. In particular, the walls dripping with blood, getting back to... Man, all getting back to me.
I really love to watch cartoons. Captain Baseball Bat Boy's my favorite.
The baby crying? Man, that is creepy. They're really expecting me to do platforming in such a setting? That's a little cruel of them. Yeah, it seems I have to jump, which is really not tired, but at least I can jump really far in this dream of mine. Again, I have literally no idea where I'm going. I'm just... I think I accidentally went back, actually. Did they came from here, or is it the way forward? no idea anymore. This literally leads me nowhere. Well, unfortunately, I think this is the way back. Although it may well be that the way forward looks the same as the way back. That would be... Oh no, it's actually...
No. No, no, please, God, no.
Was it moving? Kind of looked like it was. Oh, and the blocks felt dead. Okay, I'll save just in case I fall into another pit or something.
Slice them, dice them, shoot them full of holes, blow them to bits, vaporize them, disintegrate them. No matter what you do, they'll still be back good as new.
Michelle's diary lay on the table. Michelle was working part-time in the district attorney's office. Her diary was open on today's entry, her handwriting all pretty curves.
An army dossier found its way to my desk yesterday. Valhalla? Isn't that a Norse myth? Something about Vikings? I tried to tell Max about it, but he was busy, that cute frown on his brow. Guess it's nothing, just a mix-up at the courier service.
From now on, I would always find time for her. It was a hollow promise. Too little, too late.
A mix-up. So, did she receive something she wasn't supposed to, and that's why they killed her? Although I'm not sure how this is working, because like I'm in a dream. So is he remembering reading it somewhere before she was killed, or is it just like hallucinations?
Max, no, please, Max. Why? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Murderer! You killed her!
Nothing like that ever happens in the real world.
I woke up in a bad dream. My head felt 2 sizes too small for my brain.
Max Payne. I envy your name.
And the killer was smiling.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Frankie the Bat Niagara.
Niagara, as in you cry a lot? He had a baseball bat and I was tied to a chair. Pissing him off was the smart thing to do.
Nothing wrong with a little laugh now and then. Take me, for example. I love to watch cartoons. Cartoon violence is a fascinating thing. Let's take a break. I need to take a leak and maybe grab a cold one at the bar. Don't worry. I'll be back to finish this off. And then, it's checkout time.
You play, you pay, you bastard. He swaggered out, and the door clanged shut behind him, locks clicking into place. Everyone makes mistakes. Mine hadn't been to crack jokes about the goon with the bat. He'd have cracked my skull regardless. It hadn't even been to trust a girl with a gun. I had blindly gone after the first bad guy on my hit list when I should have been aiming further up the ladder, at the head of the Punchinello family. I couldn't bring myself to be pissed at Mona. Guess I had a soft spot for a pretty face. But when somebody decides to play baseball with your head, you tend to get sore. They had dragged me back to the basement of Lupino's hotel. I was beaten, bruised, and blue. I felt like the chair I had broken to get free. All I had was Niagara's bat, sticky with my own blood.
Oh, so apparently there is a level in which you only have a melee weapon. Look at that. But this was long enough, so I'll save and see you in the next one. Bye.